Hello students, I am Rajiv Jha. Today I am going to explain my 12th video in series of question and answer on electrical machine. Here in this video we will talk about EMF and torque equation of induction motor and also discuss why can't induction motor not operate at synchronous speed. So I hope you will like this video. Let's continue. So our topic is induction motor, and this one is our in this video we will discuss on EMF and torque production in induction motor. So in this video you have learned EMF induced in induction motor, why can't induction motor operate on synchronous speed, and third one is torque production in induction motor. Okay, so next one is, so initially rotor are open circuited and locked. So due to this you can say initially rotor are open circuit locked. That mean first of all we will give you here is the stator, second one is the rotor actually. Okay, this is the stator winding and this is the rotor winding. So in any rotating electrical machine there is a two type of winding, we know this is a generalized thing actually. So initially what we do in induction motor case, when you want to derive the EMF equation, in that case initially you assume that rotor are open circuit and locked. That mean open circuit means there is no current flowing. Okay, we talk about the wound rotor actually, because in squirrel cage induction motor the rotor circuit are short circuited. So in this case we start with wound rotor, wound type rotor induction motor actually. And second one is the locked means the initially there is no rotation of you can say there is no rotation in rotor actually. So rotor is stopped. Okay, the rotating speed is 0. And so if we do this, then this induction motor is just like a transformer. Okay, so all the you can say principle which follow, all the principle of EMF equation which follow on transformers should also be applied on this induction motor here. So we know the EMF equation of the transformer is E1 equal to 4.44 and 1 into 5 into F. So N1 is the you can say turn ratio. So here the turn ratio in the stator, F is the frequency, phi is the flux per pole, and E1 is the EMF. Okay, then second one is second equation you have seen. So frequency, we know the frequency we can also write down as F equal to NS P divided by 2. Okay, here NS equal to RPS, rotation per second, P is the number of poles in induction motor. Okay, so through this way we can also derive this EMF. So EMF is generated due to the Faraday law. We all know Faraday and Lenz law. Because of this the EMF is produced here. Then second one you see the E2 is generated here. Okay, because of this EMF the E2 is generated or induced. Okay, E2 is induced in the secondary side of the transformer, or in case of the induction motor it is called the rotate. In at rotor winding the EMF is induced over there. So because of the you can say there is no current is flowing, or the induction motor is locked initially, so that's why the E2 or EMF in at the rotor winding will also get the same equation, except of the turn ratio, the value of turn ratio will change here. Okay, so when rotor moves to NR speed, there is a two possibility. Either rotor will move with clockwise direction or rotor will move with anti-clockwise direction. So direction of rotor rotation will decide by Lenz law. Okay, decide by Lenz law. What is Lenz law actually? Lenz law means the rotor causes opposites in own reason. Okay, so the reason the effect is actually effect opposes is its own reason actually. So here E2, we know E2 is minus and d phi by dt. Okay, so Lenz law, that means it opposes, that is negative actually. So this flux is stator flux, stator rotating flux actually. So it opposes the stator rotating flux. Okay, so speed of stator rotating flux will get decreases or reduce. Rotor wants to reduce actually. So what is the condition and how the Lenz law works actually here? Rotor wants to reduce due to production of E2. Due to production of E2, rotor wants to reduce rotating stator magnetic field from NS. Okay, and rotor is free to move. So what happened? You see the one condition actually. Okay, here I told you, if you want to decrease, you are here, you are the stationary part. Okay, stationary observer, and the true train is coming towards this towards it actually, like the same direction you have seen v1 and v2. So you have seen there is a v1 minus v2. Okay, so with your respect, you have seen the velocity which is relative velocity with respect to of the observer is v1 minus v2. So that means if you want to decrease the you can say speed, or you can say decrease the stator rotating magnetic field, you will have to put on you will have to rotate the rotor on the same speed or same direction, in which direction the rotating stator magnetic field will rotate. Okay, that's you can conclusion, if the opposite train is moving, the addition will happen. Okay, so here they actually very well. So if you have any doubt, then go and study first 8, 9, 10th. So this one, through this way, the new EMF equation will be, because in old EMF equation we are not introducing the NR, or you can say the rotor is locked at that time. So that's why when the rotor is moving, so initially what happened, both are rotor and rotating stator magnetic field, both are rotating in same direction, because it's want to reduce the EMF. Okay, so E2 will be reduced through this, the induced EMF will get reduces because of Lenz law. Okay, so it is NS minus NR into P upon 2. So here you see the stator is, when we supply the stator winding, then EMF called E1. Okay, and this EMF we will get through this EMF, the rotating stator magnetic field is rotating in anti-clockwise direction, we have seen here. So due to this, the EMF is induced in the rotor winding. Okay, so here we see the rotor winding, the EMF is induced, that EMF is induced in the rotor winding, and rotor is rotating because of it want to reduce the EMF. So rotor is rotating because of Lenz law, rotor is rotating the same direction as the rotating stator magnetic field. Okay, that is what we have seen here earlier slides. So now here we see we give the short circuit here. Okay, and we make this construction into the we change this construction into the squirrel cage induction motor actually. So we see the EMF, this is the EMF of or you can say stator winding, and here the EMF of rotor winding. So the normal change we have given here, NS minus NS into NS, that means we divide by NS, we multiply by NS synchronous speed. So what happened with this, we will get the slip actually here, S is called the slip. Okay, so we will get the slip, we know the value of slip is S equal to, the value of slip is S equal to NS minus NR divided by NS. Okay, so we will get the slip, and the equation we will get E2 equal to under root 2 pi P2 into NS into S into KW2 into N2 into phi. Here P by 2 into NS is called the frequency. We know frequency equal to NS P by 2. So we replace this nsp by 2 by frequency here in n2. So the equation, new equation is under root 2 pi f into s, or you can say fs kw2 n2 into phi. So here sf is also called the rotor frequency. Okay, so through this way we have seen in this slide the s equal to the slip, the formation of slip, and the emf is the full, you can say, derivation of the emf actually. So here E2 equal to under root 2 pi f 2 pi f into s into kw2 into phi. So corresponding to this phi is very important actually. So correspondence to b net, the actual b net, or you can say the resultant flux, correspondence to this b net, we will get the flux per pole. Okay, or the resultant flux per pole here. Okay, this is the value of flux actually. This is the slip we discussed already. So when nr equal to 0, that means initially when rotor is stationary, okay, at that case we will see the slip is equal to 1. Why, how it is so? Because ns minus nr upon ns. So when nr equal to 0, that means ns upon ns, so the value is slip is equal to 1. Okay, so and when nr equal to ns, the slip is equal to 0. So we know we can make a you can say variation of slip, or we will get the variation of slip in between of 0 to 1. Okay, in between of 0 to 1 we will get the variation. Okay, so if emf is in rotor winding will be 0, that means from Biot-Savart law. Okay, the second question is arises, what happened, the second question is arises here, what happened when rotor is rotating at synchronous speed? Okay, rotor is rotating at synchronous. So in short we can say the rotor is rotating at synchronous speed, so the slip is 0. So if slip is 0, why slip is 0? Because we know slip is equal to ns minus nr divided by ns. So if ns minus nr, or you can say nr equal to ns, then this is equal to 0. So that's why the slip is 0. So if slip is 0, that means we know E2 directly proportional to slip here. So E2, or you can say the EMF, induced EMF, or in the secondary winding, in the secondary winding, or you can say the rotor winding, is also 0. So if EMF in the rotor winding will be 0, that means from Biot-Savart law we can say EMF is 0. So you can say the rotor current is 0. Okay, if rotor emf, or you can say E2 is 0, so the rotor current is 0. Rotor current is 0, that means force through Biot-Savart law we know bsir l sin theta. Okay, so bs is the stator, rotating stator magnetic field, and second one is the ir is the rotor current. So if rotor current is 0, here you see the rotor current is 0, so we can say that here the rotor current is 0, so force is 0. So force is 0, so you can you know that force torque is equal to F into D. Okay, if force is 0, D is the diameter of the rotor actually. So if force is 0, so the torque is also 0. So that's why induction motor does not start, or you can say induction motor does not operate on the synchronous speed here. Okay, this is the reason why induction motor can't run at synchronous speed. So that is the important, you can say, statement why induction motor not started. So next one we will see how the torque is produced. Okay, so when we give the supply, the magnetic stator magnetic field is generated here. So when we through this, because of this stator magnetic field is generated the flux, which is time varying flux. So due to this the emf is generated in the rotor winding. Okay, so due to this a rotor is also generated the magnetic field. So this magnetic field is called the br. Okay, so what happened next, the actually there is a angle between of BS and BR. The angle between of BS and BR is gamma, and the angle between BS and, you can say, the axis of the rotor axis, the angle between BS and rotor axis is theta, and this theta is also equal to this theta actually, and that is the, you can say, the stator axis, stator winding axis, and the rotor magnetic field axis. Okay, the uh, two angle is almost angle is equal here. So here we can see the F equal to the force is actually in between, generated in between, through Biot-Savart law. We know whenever the current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, then the force is exerted or imply or produced in the conductor here. So here we see the, you can say, this, if we consider the magnetic field BS or stator magnetic field, then the current produced in the rotor winding, we can say BS equal to here BS cos phi or cos theta. This one is called the BS cos theta, BS cos theta. Okay, so here we can say F equal to LIR BS cos theta. So torque acting on rotor, so rotor diameter is D actually, or you can say that D is the rotor diameter. So torque acting on rotor, so F into D we can say, so F equal to LIR BS cos theta into D here, you see here actually. So we, if we rearrange this D, so we can also write it like BL IR BS cos theta. We can also say that whatever the current is flowing is the reason for generating the uh, rotating flux. So we can also say that this is also true actually, IR directly proportional to BR, or we can say IR is equal to MBR. Okay, so here we can say equal to DLBRBS cos theta into M is the constant. Okay, M is the constant here. So if we include all the constant, that like M, DL, this is the constant terms. So if include and it you can say it makes them a single constant named K, then we can say electromagnetic torque is equal to KBRBS cos theta. Okay, so this is the electromagnetic torque, but this torque is the equation of this torque is the, you can say, with respect to the theta is called the angle between of stator magnetic field and the rotor axis. Okay, but we want a relation between of, you can say, B net actually. So through this way we will get the value of flux per pole. In that direction we will get the value of flux per pole. So what happened next, here is called the B net. How the B net is calculated here? So through this way we will get the B net. So if we have a BS and BR, then we will find out the B net, and in direction of the B net, whatever the flux is generated or induced, that flux is called the flux per pole, and we will use as a EMF actually. So E2 is directly proportional to phi, that is in, you can say, that is in line with the B net actually. Okay, so here you see electromagnetic torque. Here you see electromagnetic torque is K equal to T equal to K BS PR cos gamma minus 90. Okay, so gamma minus 90, the value of this one is the value, this one is the BS, and this one is the BR, and the angle is B net. Okay, this one is the gamma, and this is 90 degree. So gamma minus 90 degree, we have seen gamma minus 90 degree, we can write it as a theta. Okay, when we call this theta, so if this one is called the theta actually, so this one is gamma, so gamma minus 90, that means we will call it theta. Okay, this one is theta. So if we gamma minus 90, if we do, or you can replace by 90, we can replace by theta as a gamma minus 90 here. So due to this gamma minus 90, we will get the TE equal to K BR BS sine Y actually. So due to this, we know this is the cross, there is a two product in vector, we can calculate by either dot product or cross product. So this is also the you can say the formulation for the cross product. So we here torque is equal to K BR into BS, and we know B net equal to BR plus BS here. So in if we replace the value of BS, so we can write it down as B net minus BR, okay, like this. So when we multiply by BR into B net minus ka K BR into BR, so because of cross product, the value of BR or same vector is always give the result of 0. So here you will get the value of 0. Then we will see K equal to, see here, okay, so we will get the torque or electromagnetic torque equal to K into BR into B net, or we can say in the magnitude term, we can say KBR in magnitude into B net into sine del. Okay, so this is the, you can say, the final electromagnetic torque actually. And electromagnetic torque is always flow from BR to B net. Okay, always, either we give any load or no load condition. Okay, in every case the torque is always flow from Br is the rotor magnetic field, to B net. B net is the actual net magnetic field that is due to the BS or stator magnetic field and rotor magnetic field. So from this way, so that's it of this video. I hope you like this video. If you have any queries or questions, mail me on this email ID. I will definitely provide you a good solution. At the last, thank you for watching my video. If you have any queries or if you have any suggestions, write it on the comment box also. Thank you.